Hello dear traders, welcome to the weekly review of Trading Hero strategy. This week all portfolios brought us a profit. 5k portfolio in the first version brought us 0.5%, 5k portfolio in the second version brought us 0.3%, 5k portfolio in the third version brought us 0.2%, 10k portfolio in the first version brought us 0.1%, 10k portfolio version 2 also 0.1%, 10k portfolio version 3 also 0.1%, 20k portfolio 0.2%, 50k portfolio 0.2%, 100k portfolio 0.2%, and 200k 0.2%. Let's switch to the MetaTrader and check our trades. We'll start from the first currency pair. This is the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. We are on an hourly time frame. We highlighted the trading area of this week with a gray rectangle, and each vertical line separates one trading week. Speaking about the technical picture, we can see that the local uptrend continues, and after the release of Canadian unemployment rate, we can see that this trend speeded up a bit, because if we check the news, we can see that the number of employed in Canada decreased by 65k, although the expectations were plus 5k, so we have the difference of 70k, which is quite a big surprise. And we also have bad news on non-farm payrolls in the US, but still the news in Canada are worse than the ones we can see on the USD, so that's why we can see a very interesting picture where we have dollar falling against all major currencies except the Canadian dollar. It grows against the Canadian dollar, but we'll check it later. Let's switch to the AUD/CAD currency pair. As I said, we have this uptrend. This week we closed some trades from the previous week, also open new buy trades, sell trades, and currently we have several trades that we are still holding from August. The profit of this week is $359. On the daily time frame, we can see that the global uptrend also continues, so everything goes according to the plan. We have this resistance level. The market was pushing price toward this level for several months, and finally it broke it, and the next goal is the previous resistance level. The next currency pair is Australian dollar against the New Zealand dollar. Here, as you can see, the uptrend also continues, so the profit of this week amounted to $51. We didn't close many trades, we are still gaining a lot of sell trades. We closed only a couple of trades from the previous week, and also we made one sell trade this week that we closed with a profit, and we continue gaining all the positions. On the daily time frame, we can see that Aussie reached the highs of January 2025, and it's very close to another local maximums of 2024. So from my point of view, there is a huge probability of the downward correction from these levels. Maybe they will renew these levels and then will go downwards. So the main scenario is downtrend, correction from these resistance levels, or maybe we'll see a false break and then the market will go down. The next currency pair is Aussie USD. Here you can see that the downtrend that we had continues. Obviously, this week after these non-farm payrolls news, we have the break through this local resistance level, but the market is currently affected by news, so maybe the price will reverse into this channel. At least I suppose that this is the main scenario, unless we show consistent growth, we renew these local highs, will form new local lows, or better even like break through these local highs, and then we can say that okay, the trend on the daily time frame that we saw, it was over, and we were building this trend line like this, that we broke through this trend line and we started moving downwards. To cancel our selling scenario, we need to see the break through the previous resistance level, and only after that we can adjust the trend line and say that okay, it was a deeper correction, but in the frames of the global uptrend. So let's see what will happen the next week. The next currency pair is Euro GBP. Here we can see that we had a huge impulse on Tuesday. We managed to open several sell trades and close them on Friday. The profit of this week is $18, and on the daily time frame we can see that we are still in this local corridor. But if we draw a trend line, we can see that the market is looking downward. It doesn't mean that we're gonna fall, but technically we can see that minimums are more or less the same, but maximums are falling down, and considering the shape of candles, I can say that we have this kind of a strong pressure of sellers here. The next currency pair is GBP USD. Here you can see that this week we actually spent, I can say, in a consolidation. We started it from a huge decline on Tuesday. The market fell for more than 2,000 pips. We closed our trades from the previous week. We started gaining buying trades, and actually we earned around $190. But then market retested the support level 2 times and started its growth. So far it's too early to say that we are in a downtrend or in an uptrend by the results of this week. If we check the global picture, from my point of view, we still have this downward incline. If we build the channel line like this and exclude areas with high volatility, this one and this one, we can see that basically market is going downwards. So this kind of movement is just another correction wave in the frames of this downward trend, and we really hope that sooner or later we'll go down and close our trades that we are holding since April. On the daily time frame we can see the similar picture. We have this downward incline. Let's see how we close this week. If we break through this and this resistance level, then we can say that market entered a new consolidation phase, and we can build it like this and exclude this false break from it. The next currency pair is GBP CAD, and here you can see that the market actually was falling the first part of the week the same way as GBP USD. We fell over 2,000 pips, closed some trades with the profit that we were holding from the previous week and started gaining buying positions, then closed all these positions and started gaining selling positions. The profit of this week is $163. On the daily time frame we can see that we are still in this consolidation. There is no hidden downtrend or uptrend. We're just moving in this corridor the same way as we were moving in a corridor previously. We just changed the range of prices, but the way of movement remains the same. The next currency pair is USD CAD, and here, as I said, you can see that all currencies are growing, but in our case the US dollar is growing against the Canadian dollar. We cannot say that the growth is really huge, but we made this spike down, and now we can see that the price is consolidating in the previous price range, so we can say that the probability of that the uptrend continues is really high. As for our trades, we closed 2 trades from the previous week and opened 1 sell trade. The profit is $109, and on the daily time frame we can see that the scenario we are speaking about a couple of months, that we have this corridor, then we broke through it, then we retested it, and we have this upward movement. It actually still remains in force, and I think that after this retesting of the support level we have good chances that the price will continue its growth. And the last currency pair for today is NZD CAD. Here you can see that the market spent whole week in a consolidation, but finally on news it broke through the resistance level, and we can say that we reached the local bottom. We closed several sell trades, then buy trades, and we are gaining buying trades because we were falling during the previous weeks. And now I think that in a couple of hours, if the market continues moving the same way, we're going to close the trades we were holding for 2 or even 3 weeks. And in parallel, obviously, we're gaining selling positions. The profit amounted to $235, and on the daily time frame, we can see that we had this downward channel, then we had this consolidation, and now obviously that we can return to the upper border of this channel and maybe then continue the downward movement. So this was the first week of September. You can see that the volatility started to grow, and I hope that the next weeks will be more profitable than this one. I wish you a successful trading next week and see you in the next video review.